at this point.
Okay. And Sheila, can you see this?
I can.
Cool. All right, so let's start talking about mentality first, because part of the training today, we wanted to talk about building independent leaders, but a lot of times people don't understand what it means to be independent or even how to teach somebody to be independent. So let's talk about us and ourselves first. Let's talk about our mentality, because everything starts with the way we think, right? So looking at the hierarchy from hope, trying to look at the hierarchy from the outside, looking in, there's something that's very clear cut here that we may not have as much as other hierarchies do. And Sheila, can you mute yourself really quick? I think it may be you. Oh, it's not you. My bad. Okay. So, and I see that there's a lot of hierarchies out there that are bigger than us on the West Coast, most likely, who are very aligned with each other. And what do I mean by that? When somebody new comes in, there's a system that they have. There's not a lot of people that try to do things their way or try to do things that they think should be done, right, as the newest person. So one of the things that I want to touch on is don't try to change the system, guys, to the way you do it or the way you think it should be done, unless you have the numbers to show for it, right? Shaq and Samir and all the other RVPs always said, don't ever try to change anything until you're even an RVP, because until you're an RVP, you don't even know how to run a brokerage yet, right? You haven't even earned the right to even get audited or Primerica to even treat you like a separate business, even though we all are building our separate businesses. You want to be able to train people to be consistent and following the system, which starts with us first, because in order to attract coachable people, we have to be coachable ourselves, right? And one of the things that really helped me over my whole time span of the years I've been here, because I'm just thinking like, okay, you guys are listening to me, you guys are listening to Sheila, but how do we get good? How do we get to where we are? Because it's not just telling you guys what to do, it's how did we do it? How did we do it? And then it's up to you guys to implement it, right? So every training that I ever attended, which is all trainings, I've never, not one time, missed a training. I can say that throughout the 10 years I've been here, not one training I have ever missed. So I always focused on making one positive adjustment from each training and each week that I've attended training. From advanced, that is considered from advanced training, Draw for Skills Shaq has ever had, Super Mondays, Millionaire Mondays, any Wednesday mornings. I mean, anything that you can name. That's what I looked at to see, what am I not doing right? Because I know what I'm doing right because it's working. I'm getting results from it. What am I not doing right? Where are my numbers that are low? And those numbers that are low, what do I need to learn to get those numbers up and upgrade them even more? You want to be able to pay your bills and some more and learn to retain people, guys. Money talks. I'm listening to Hector Lamarck a lot these days. And in an audio that he talks about teaching people to close, he goes, the only reason why people leave any business, and he's talking about Primerica business, of course, but any business in general, or stop their own business because they don't make money. People go get a job because they don't make money. And they don't make money because they don't know how to close. So what else could be more important than teaching your people to close and learning to close yourself by doing things the same way as the closers are doing? Clients should be able to refer you and want to refer you almost every single interaction that you have. I was talking to Thomas yesterday and he said, Jen, you have learned to monetize your follow-up calls, which is actually true. Every single call that I have with a client and or an old recruit who most likely is a client, they always refer me to somebody for the most part. I can literally, if they don't automatically refer me to somebody, I can always ask for a referral. And the client is so happy to give me a referral. I want to help you guys get to that point where you earn that referral and people want to introduce you to people. They're happy to brag about you as their advisor. And by the way, just as a side note, you can't call yourself a full advisor unless you have an investment license. And you can't say you care about really helping your client fully if you don't get an investment license. So make sure you guys get that license so that you can actually sit across the kitchen table from maybe an agent confrontation, whole life trash value agent that's trying to replace your term policy, right? You want to be prepared. So I want to bring up Sheila because Sheila is the best person, in my opinion, in this hierarchy when it comes to credibility, not just with clients, but with people in general in life. And I think she has a way of doing things just in life that we all can take notes on. Sheila, go ahead, take it away.
Good morning, everybody. So building credibility, thanks, Jen, for the really nice introduction. I mean, building credibility is something that it can be taught, but it also has to come within. Okay. And I've, even before I got into this business, as Jen mentioned, I've always really lived by empathy, because I think that's probably one of the most important characteristic traits that anybody should have. And I say should because not everybody has empathy, unfortunately. But if you always put yourself in somebody else's shoes, then you would probably be a better person in general. So, and that kind of comes with credibility. It goes hand in hand with credibility, because you don't want things done to you that you don't want things that are done to you done to others, right? Did I say that right? Don't do things that you want done to you that you don't done to others. I don't know, but anyways, you know what, karma goes both ways. There's good karma and there's bad karma. Okay, so with that being said, every time I tell somebody I'm going to do something, I am going to do it. So always do what you say that you're going to do. Okay, so obviously if you tell somebody I'll call you in the next 24 hours, you call them back in the next 24 hours. And if you say that if you can't do it, don't promise somebody that you can't do it, that you can do it if you can't. I'm so sorry. I'm getting nervous, but so it's really important, because I think credibility in this business is everything. Okay, obviously, if you don't have credibility, how are you going to be able to build a business? If they say, oh, why would I do business with this person if she's not credible or he's not credible? Okay, so when you say you're going to do something, make sure you do it. Okay, you follow up with your clients. Not only just for the business side, I have always done this consistently, even before I got into this business. I've always, greeted people on, special occasions, right? Maybe birthdays, anniversaries, and it's much easier now that you have social media. It even gives you reminders. Okay, I don't know if anybody's on Facebook, but it tells you like birthdays, right? It tells you, who on your friends list has a birthday, today and the next few days after. So it's really important, because I think when you, when you greet them on on a special occasion, it shows that they're important to you. Okay. And I've always done this also, even like I said, even before the business, I always, send like a mass, text message on holidays, right? Maybe Thanksgiving, Christmas, whatever holidays it is. I try to, be consistent with this. And again, this has always been the way I am. I think I'm just, I'm just that person. When clients call you, make sure that you pick up that phone. Okay. Or at the very least, if you can't, make sure, like for me, my golden rule is if I get a call from a client, I'm going to call them back within 24 hours. Always. Okay. And if I can't answer right away, I always, when I do get back with them, I always apologize. Okay. It's really important, because, what I've learned through the business is a lot of the clients that I have and retained is, these are the clients that have had probably previous agents. Because as you know, if you've listened to me before, the bulk of my business is mostly people that have, trash value policies. So, with when the clients talk to me about, previous relationships they'd have with their let's say their previous agents, one thing they always say to me is they're always really nice when they're trying to get my business, but once they get my business, they never call me back. Or when I try to ask them a question, they never call me back, right? And I've always told my clients, if you call me, text me, whatever, I will always get back with you. Okay, it's really, really important. Because again, you know, when you don't call them, then it means to say or follow up with them. It gives them a sense of, you know, a feeling that they're unimportant. You know, oh, she already got money. You know, she already got her commission. Therefore, you know, I don't matter anymore, right? You don't want to give your clients that feeling, and that's why, you know, I think I do have a 90 above 90% of quality QBI, and I'm really proud of that. All right. Now we're talking about consistency and dependability. Okay. This training is about getting consistent, you know, business, right? And I think I did train on this with my group as well. But again, the credibility also comes with consistency, right? I don't change what I say to people, and that's because what we're doing is right. I'm very consistent with the choice of words that I have, okay? But I also am consistently true with my words, all right? And you know what? Sometimes we all make mistakes. That's part of life. We're all human. So always remember to apologize when they're, you know, when, let's say, you make a mistake, right? Or like I said, you know, if you promise something, well, I don't really, I really try not to. But if I promise to do something for someone, even if it's outside of the business, maybe, you know, asking for, you know, somebody to do, you know, maybe refer them to a surgeon that I'm friends with, or so forth and so on. I do this a lot because, you know, if for those who do not know, I'm also I've been in healthcare for over 26 years, but I've always been consistent with everything that I do, not just the business, but also on the personal side. And, you know, sometimes, you know, the reason I do get my clients is because they know that, you know, when they call me, they can depend on me. Okay. And that's really important. Again, it goes with credibility. You're consistent, you're dependable, then they know that you've built that credibility. And that's how you actually get referrals. I've said this before, and I'll say it again, that right now, 4 years of me being in this business, a little over 4 years now, the reason I'm getting, you know, more business because now I'm getting a lot of referrals. Okay. Referrals from, you know, people that I, you know, that have become my clients that I didn't even know. Okay. Like the last few closes I've gotten were from, you know, people that are under the, you know, the people that I've recruited, and it's like their family or their friends, because they realized, you know, how important the presentation, the education that we bring to the table. And unfortunately, you know, some agents, they just want to make money. They want, and it's okay to make money, right? It is totally okay. It's part of the business, but it should never be at the expense of, you know, other people's downfall. Okay. What Samir did for me as my advisor. So, you know, my story is I've actually been in this business for a little over 4 years, but I've been a client now for 16 years. Okay. So, you know, Samir is my upline. He actually was not even, you know, I didn't even know who he was. Okay. He was referred to me by my godmother's son, who came to my, you know, who actually did just ask a favor if I could sit with, you know, with his trainer, because he was trying to become a financial, you know, advisor / planner. And I said, sure, come on, you know, come on in. So anyways, you know, I became first an insurance client. So I got insurance from Samir, and I actually referred him to, you know, a lot of my family and friends at that time. And I was very busy because my kids were very young then. You know, my younger son was doing AAU basketball, but so every weekend I had to go to tournaments. So I didn't really have time to do the business. And I do recall him asking if I was interested, but I said, you know what, I'm too busy to do this. Okay. Which is probably one of the biggest regrets, because again, I should have done this a long time ago, because there's some people right now that I can't help because it's too late. Okay. Anyways, so what Samir did for me as an advisor is, number one, he followed up with me all the time. Like he would, you know, he became basically a friend to me and my family in general. And 4 years later, I became also an investment client of his. So my husband and I had rolled over a significant, some, money from our old jobs, which was just sitting there. And he said, you know what, you have all of these 401ks from different companies. I had maybe 5 of them at that time. And what I did is I consolidated all of those with the exception of one, because they were giving me such a hard time to roll it over. I gave it to, I just basically said, okay, here's Samir. And, he educated me and all that. But honestly, I didn't remember what he said at that time. I just said, okay, here you go. Okay. Unfortunately, there was, we had issues with health issues within our family that really opened my eyes 4 years later. And just FYI, my investments with Samir, I never even logged into those accounts. Okay. Until, we had a health crisis in the family. Unfortunately it was cancer. And I basically called him and I said, Samir, look, I know that, you always follow up with me, but I've never really asked you to log into my account. So I finally logged in, in my account and that of my husband and I, and we were very, very, happy with, with our investment accounts. And that's really how I got into the business. So Tamir didn't have to recruit me after the fact. I was the one who said, you know what, I want to learn. I want to learn about investments. That's how I got into the business. And, and the rest of it is history. Okay. And I was not planning to become a, just an insurance agent. I really wanted to help people with investments. Actually, that was my ultimate goal. And with that being said, I actually got my securities license within 1 year of me being in the business. So again, that goes that goes back with do what you say you're going to do. Because I told Samir, Samir, I'm going to get my securities license within a year. And I did it. Okay. It was not easy, but I did it. Okay. It was not, I'm not going to say that it can't be done. It can be done by anyone. You just have to give it time. But I must say that half of my business, the money that I bring in, half of that, or even more than half of that, is actually from my securities license. Okay. So next thing is you lead by example. So for me, with my clients, they know that I have insurance with the company, I have investments. And remember, the golden rule, buy term and invest the difference. So because I'm a client, I use myself as an example, even as a client and into my team. I always tell them that, hey, I call, make a list. I try to meet with my team on a weekly basis. Okay. You have to lead by example, because if you're not doing the right thing, then guess what? The people that will follow you will not do the right thing either. Okay. So it's really important to lead by example as a client to my team and also to the people that I'm around, period. Okay. Last thing is starts with getting back to your training. So I think you all know, or if you don't, I actually, before I became a regional leader, I used to call Samir, I want to say at least, or text him at least 20 times a day. Sometimes I would call him like in the wee hours, like at 1 a.m. And the funny thing is he would always answer. So, because he knew I'm always hungry for information. I'm always wanting to be in the know of things. And again, I need to also, I need to also be like a Samir to my team. And there's always room for improvement. So anyways, I hope that was helpful with you guys. And I'm gonna bring it back to Jen.
Great job, Sheila. I just want to reiterate and kind of touch on what Sheila went through, because I think there's a lot of nuggets in what she said. I'm not going to, redo everything, but one of the things that really stuck out to me that she was talking about was when there was a health crisis in her family, she followed up with Samir, not about the insurance, but about how much money they had. And that was the security side of what he did for her. Had he not did her securities, investments for her and her rollovers, with all that money being able to grow over time, she would not have even been interested in working with him. Think about it. Sheila only joined the business because she wanted to learn investments, because Samir helped her with investments, and she saw the results through Samir following up with her, right?